In the early morning hours of March the 2nd, 2023, shortly before 3 a.m, two armed men on a motorcycle stopped in front of a supermarket in Rosario, Argentina, and opened fire. The building was empty and nobody was hurt, but the Associated Press reported that the gunman riddled the premises with bullets and left behind a sinister note. "Messi, we're waiting for you. Havkin is also a drug trafficker. He won't protect you." So what did the note mean? Who is Havkin, and how does it impact Messi and his future? This wasn't just another random shooting in Rosario. The target, Supermercado Único, is owned and operated by the family of Antonella Roccuzzo, who is Lionel Messi's wife. It was also just the latest instance of organised crime and gangland violence, which has led to over 50 homicides in the city already this year. In 2022, there were 270. Despite being 3 times as large, there were just 88 homicides in Buenos Aires during the same time period. It means that Rosario, the birthplace of Messi and where his parents and in-laws still reside, has the unwanted title of being Argentina's most violent city. Now, that last line of the note, left by the gunman, was possibly a reference to that, and to Pablo Havkin, Rosario's mayor, who immediately condemned the attack and said that Rosario is a laboratory for criminal activity. He also pointed the finger at local law enforcement for failing to protect the city. Now, the intention behind the attack is unclear. It's speculated to have been aimed more at Havkin than at Messi, that it was less a threat to the player and more a brutal demonstration of the mayor's failure to provide adequate security in the city. Conversely, it's also been theorised that targeting Messi at the zenith of his popularity is a show of strength that demonstrates to the world just how powerful the Narcos are in Rosario, while also proving that nobody, not even Messi and his extended family, is beyond their reach. A further suggestion is that Messi is being reminded of his vow to return home and urged, less than subtly, to make good on it. Other commentators have offered a simpler explanation, that Messi would be returning to a place where he would need allies, with the supermarket shooting serving to demonstrate his vulnerability. But there remains no conclusive answer, nothing but speculation and innuendo. Nevertheless, the shooting quickly became world news, while simultaneously causing a political controversy in Argentina, when the nation's defense minister, Aníbal Fernández, told reporters after the shooting that the Narcos have won. It painted an ugly picture of the instability in one of Argentina's most fabled football cities. Just a few weeks before, in January 2023, Jimmy Altamirano, a 28-year-old music teacher and juggler, was walking home after a band rehearsal when a car stopped next to him and he was kidnapped. Minutes later, he was found dead at the entrance to Newell Stadium. Altamirano had no known links to drugs or violence, but he was found with a letter addressed to members of both a local drug cartel and Newell's Old Boys Ultras. His body had been dumped in front of Newell Stadium, named after Marcelo Bielsa. In the wake of the murder, Santa Fe's provincial security minister and the head of the provincial police force were both dismissed in response to growing lawlessness. In early March, to the fury of locals, a 12-year-old boy was shot and killed during a confrontation between rival gangs. 3 other children were wounded by what was described as a hail of bullets. So the picture is extremely bleak, but Rosario is still one of South America's great football cities. It's home to Newell's Old Boys and Rosario Central, 2 fierce rivals with rich histories who divide the city's football loyalties. Newell's home ground bears the name of Bielsa, but a tier of the stadium is dedicated to Gerardo Tata Martino, who starred as a player for the former club and led Newell's to a league championship as a manager in 2013. Rosario Central can claim World Cup winners Mario Alberto Kempes and Angel Di Maria as club legends, among other greats. Messi, however, is far and away Rosario's most famous son. He joined Newell's as a 6-year-old in 1994, dazzling local crowds with hundreds of goals and silky dribbling, until he departed for Barcelona 5 years later. And the player has never shied away from talking about a romantic return to his boyhood club. Even as time has passed, my desire to play for Newell's remains intact, Messi told Argentina's Sportia shortly before the 2018 World Cup in Russia. I've always said that I'd love to play for Newell's. It's something that I still have left to do. Before the supermarket shooting, Messi's Newell's return wasn't entirely implausible. After leading Argentina to a Copa America title in 2021, Messi was finally hailed as a hero. Previously, he'd never replicated his European success with his country, nor always produced his very best form. In addition to which, having left Argentina at such a young age to move to Spain and sign for Barcelona, to some he was always more Catalonian than Argentinian. Well, now that's changed. Triumph in Qatar further elevated Messi to legend status, lifting him inarguably into the stratosphere occupied by Diego Maradona. He had finally connected with the people of Argentina and potentially set the stage for the most triumphant of returns to Rosario. He retains plenty of options in Europe, and the extension of his contract at Paris Saint-Germain also remains a possibility. But having now quite literally won everything European and world football has to offer, he could have returned to Argentina with nothing left to achieve. But this latest act of violence may have prevented that return, or at least made it far less likely. This doesn't only affect Leo's return, it affects everyone, said Newell's manager, Gabriel Ainsa, in response to the supermarket shooting. There's no doubt that this distances Leo from Newell's, and anyone else. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including journalists dedicated to each Premier League team, so every fan gets the coverage they deserve, not just the big clubs. And you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.